The Shrouded Deep adventure is finally here, and Rare did their best to make it a love letter to the very first update, The Hungering Deep. In this adventure we meet up with an old hunter, play a shanty with other crews and fight the Moby Dick of megalodons. So welcome to another episode of The Good, The Bad and The Lore, where I give you my thoughts and opinions on the most recent adventures while also explaining some of the lore. As usual, this adventure starts with us talking to Lorena. She informs us Merrick is back aboard the galleon and together with Belle, they are trying to summon the Shrouded Ghost. Sadly, she hasn't heard back from them, so it's up to us to investigate the problem. I mean, it would be a boring adventure if we didn't. The galleon can be found just south of Shipwreck Bay, and this location is the same for all players. And yes, this ship isn't just any galleon, but the killer whale. And it doesn't take much to notice that this ship is far from seaworthy, since the first encounter with the Shrouded Ghost didn't go well. I mean, can you imagine finally seeing the Shrouded Ghost and not being able to kill it? Well, that's how both Merrick and Belle feel, but for different reasons than getting some commendations. Some players might also be confused right now about the killer whale being back in the game. So is this the same ship that originally sunk by the Hungering One? I think not. The developers stated many times that the original killer whale was used by the Reapers to make their hideout. And for those that played since the beginning, I'm sure they remember actually exploring this shipwreck at Reaper's hideout when it was just some unmarked island. So why is it sailing again? Well, the cinematic trailer might give us some answers since we see Belle dragging this ship from the deep below. In early builds of the game, she would be the one responsible for getting us back to our ship, and it wouldn't be a stretch to presume she also had a hand in restoring sunken ships. However, that was the original idea. Nowadays, the merfolk fulfill that function. They bring us to our ship when we fall behind and repair it when it has sunk. So it could be Belle worked together with the merfolk to repair the killer whale. And since we don't see the nameplate being used at the Reaper's hideout, I just presume this is still the original one. Something that has changed is a figurehead. It originally featured a swordfish, but now it features Merrick's wife, Sarek, a character that can be found on the North Star Seapost. When talking to her, she explains she briefly dated a merman, and that's probably why she's wearing bits of coral in her hair. Captain Logan put forth the idea that both she, Belle, and the merfolk are responsible for bringing back the killer whale. Sarek doesn't want Merrick to sail again, but could have been convinced by Belle to give her blessing for one more go. And I like that idea. And maybe her ex-boyfriend decided to make this new figurehead. Who knows? Another explanation could be that Belle also has the ability to make past memories solid, and she might have used the memories of Sarek or Merrick to recreate the killer whale, since the flavor text of this new figurehead tells us this is how Merrick sees his wife. Whatever the explanation is, it does feel great to see the ship back again. Also, Belle popping up using a buoy is how she was depicted in early promotional material, so seeing this in an actual trailer is really great. I think we can safely presume that popping up from the water is a way Belle travels the seas. And this was actually hinted at during the previous adventures, where every island Belle is located or has been also has this buoy nearby. Again, great attention to detail and lore. Merrick and Belle explain that the Veil of the Ancients was cast in the deep long ago and has ended up in the belly of the beast capable of traveling between worlds. This switching between worlds is probably possible because the Shrouded Ghost swallowed the Veil, since this artifact is capable of drawing power from the Sea of the Damned. And this is also the reason why Flameheart seeks this out. Also, this lore explanation is interesting since the developers stated there is no spawn rate number attached to the regular Shrouded Ghost. This always struck me as weird and I still find it pretty hard to believe, but maybe the Shrouded Ghost only spawns when certain requirements are met on the server, requirements that have to do with the Sea of the Damned perhaps? Maybe. Either way, I do like the explanation of why this megalodon is so rare, since it makes sense from both a lore and gameplay perspective. Something Sea of Thieves is really good at. Also, the megalodon is called the Shrouded Ghost in this realm, making me wonder if it is called something different in the Sea of the Damned. Maybe a throwaway line, but I thought it was interesting. Either way, Belle and Merrick want to try another round at defeating the Shrouded Ghost. But to do that, we need to complete a summoning ritual. This is done by using the spirits of the 4 megalodons, binding them to effigies and placing them on the ritual table. This ritual will power up Merrick's shanty so its echo can be heard across the void. Again, another great bit of lore explanation. Also, the runes on this table translate to 5, pirate, ritual, song, waking, ghost, and shark. Thanks to a shiny ray for translating these runes as soon as we saw them. So, to trap these souls, we simply need to follow new maps to the different feeding grounds of these creatures. Instead of playing a shanty, Merrick gives us some special flares. These flares cannot be shot from your ship, but need to be shot from designated cannons that can be found on the nearby islands. Before you track them down, make sure you check the ritual table to decide which sharks are still needed. But if you want to complete all the deeds, you do need to kill all of them either way. Once you arrived at the feeding grounds and shot the flare, a megalodon will appear. These won't count for your commendations, but they will drop some loot upon defeat. Just don't forget to pick up the soul using your effigy. This doesn't happen automatically, since you will need to hold out your relic and hold the interaction button while swimming next to the soul. Once all souls are collected and all effigies are placed, you will need to work together with other crews, since the shanty only works when it's being played by a minimum of 5 people. Luckily, Merrick tells us that this time we don't need to carry the tune across the map. Again, another wink to the very first update of this game. When we played, we collected all the megalodon souls ourselves, and we were extremely lucky we found some friendly people when we were returning the last effigy. But when we played the song, our tattoos were not glowing, and that was a bit of a shame. After playing the song, a multi-phase battle starts and is the highlight of the adventure. The Shrouded Ghost has plenty of health, and eventually Flameheart starts summoning ghost ships to turn it into quite a frantic battle. We also had to deal with the storm and another pesky sloop that made it their goal to sink us. They failed. Eventually, both the Black Witch and Pendragon make an appearance to help finish the fight. All in all, the entire battle took about 40 minutes to complete, but keep in mind we had quite a PvE and PvP working against us. After defeating the Shrouded Ghost, players will be rewarded with some high value treasures, including a chance to find the Chest of Legends. Keep in mind that when fighting the Shrouded Ghost, this sort of mini tornado will appear that's visible for all players. So whenever I see this again, I will make sure to help some crews out. And, steal their loot at the end of the battle, of course. And even though killing the Shrouded Ghost only completes deeds and no commendations, some players might feel this encounter ruins a real encounter with the Shrouded Ghost. And I do see where they're coming from, but I'm also sure those same players will still wet their colored pants when they do encounter one in the wilds. At the end of the adventure, Pendragon tells us that the Veil of the Ancients isn't complete, something they now suspect Flameheart already being aware of. To power up this artifact, different Veil stones are needed, but that's a video for another time. Pendragon also informs us that summoning the Shrouded Ghost also caused quite a commotion in the Sea of the Damned. I mean, that's probably how he figured out we were fighting the ghost in the first place. But it does make me wonder what the hell happened there. Maybe this is even setting up a future adventure. I do hope so. Completing all the deeds of this adventure will get you a new title, and you can also earn a new figurehead. Like mentioned before, this one is shaped like Merrick's wife, and luckily we don't need to turn in like 1000 mermaid gems at the Hunter's Call to earn this. So overall, I really like this adventure. It might be a bit annoying to find other crews to help you out, but when you do, it's a pretty great experience. Rare knows a lot of players are still nostalgic about the Hungering Deep, and this type of fan service is very much appreciated. They also learned from their past mistakes by also rewarding pirates with some additional loot. But you know, it's up to you if you are in the mood for sharing. So thanks for watching, I hope you learned something new today, and if you cannot get enough of the lore surrounding this adventure, make sure you tune in to our next podcast episode where we will dive even deeper. So make sure to leave a thumbs up before you go, that's really appreciated, and I will see you in a future video. Take care.
Oh, I didn't know they added a plank. That's so cool. How long has this been here on the galleon?